Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Topping our news, Bradenton police announced the arrest of a woman who they say was practicing medicine without a license, and they say she specialized in one particular cosmetic treatment. ABC 7's Ray Collins is just back from Bradenton Police Department with more on the story now. Ray?
Scott, police say Diane Danka injected Botox in hundreds of patients in her home office on 63rd Street West. Now, this is generic video of the medicine. It's injected in the skin to remove wrinkles. Police say they received an anonymous tip that she was injecting Botox without a license. They say they found hundreds of patient files dating back 7 years. One detective told me even though Danka wasn't doing major surgery, it's still a big deal.
It's a big deal because even in a Botox injection can still lead to, serious medical concerns for people. We have regulations, we have procedures in place to protect patients, and she circumvented those rules. She went around those rules for her own personal gain, her own financial gain, and that's just wrong.
Well, police are still looking for patients or victims to help bolster their case. Danka has since bonded out as awaiting her first appearance in Manatee County Court. Scott?
All right, Ray, thank you. All lanes are back open on Bee Ridge Road at this hour after a crash this morning. It happened east of McIntosh Road. Only minor injuries were reported, but sheriff's deputies did have to close off some lanes while investigating and then clearing the scene. Again, all lanes of Bee Ridge Road are back open at this hour. Happening today, despite the cold outside, 2018 might get off to a hot start in Manatee County as the city of Bradenton is set to continue the debate on whether or not to the return of red light cameras to some specific intersections. The Bradenton Herald reporting Vice Mayor Gene Brown plans to resume talks today at the city's first workshop. Bradenton Police Chief Melanie Bevan is expected to present crash statistics, which will help determine the most dangerous intersections in the city. The city stopped using red light cameras in 2016 after some city officials were upset with their previously chosen locations. And while it is cold here on the Suncoast, other parts of Florida are literally freezing. In Pensacola, this fountain is completely frozen over, and the family that owns a pool found it frozen yesterday morning. The dad who took the video said his daughter started crying, saying the pool was gone. She should consider herself lucky. Sub-zero temperatures have left Niagara Falls covered in ice. Isn't that a sight? So we have nothing to complain about despite a cold, wet winter day.
Yet.
As much as we get, yeah.
Yet. There's a freeze watch up for Hardee County tonight. And, that may be expanded in the days ahead because I think there's colder temperatures coming over the next couple of days,
right.
Couple of nights. So, I've already had some calls from people wanting to know whether or not they should cover their plants or not. And I'll tell you, I've taken all my orchids that are in pots, I've taken them in already because, anything that can be damaged with temperatures 38 degrees, 36 degrees around in there, you might want to consider bringing those in, especially if they're in pots. Plants in ground, to the best of my knowledge, if they're tropicals or whatever, they can withstand temperatures until it really gets to the hard freeze kind of category, 28 degrees to 32 degrees for 3 or 4 hours. I don't think we'll have anything like that around here, but if you wanted to be absolutely certain of your tender plants, you might consider that, especially if you live east of the interstate.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money to plant new ones.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
It certainly does. And some of these plants, they don't have to actually be frozen in order to do damage. So, discuss it with your nursery and find out exactly what kind of plant you have. And if they're in pots, just remember they can get damaged sooner than the ones in the ground. So, wind chill advisories will be up for tonight for all of our coastal areas. And then inland in Hardee County, we have a freeze watch that could be changed to a freeze warning, either later tonight or in the days ahead. Currently, temperatures are all not that bad, really. They're in the 50s, but the winds are starting to pick up, as we mentioned they would this morning. The system that brought snow to I-10 and icy conditions, that is now beginning to depart the area, so the rain shower chances are diminishing rapidly over the course of the next hour or so. You can see the cloud cover kind of giving way to clear skies, but that does not bode well for overnight low temperatures. We'll discuss that coming up in just a few minutes. Scott.
Okay, John, thank you. Now to an update out of Bradenton, where a Manatee County juror called in for questioning by a public defender and state attorney today after she wrote a letter to the courts claiming racism played a role in the deliberation of a man found guilty of second-degree murder. ABC 7's Marla Spence was in that courtroom this morning and joins us now live with an update. Marla?
Scott, that juror we know as Leslie Heller took the stand in a Manatee County courtroom this morning to testify what she says she was experienced and was treated in that courtroom during the Jimmy McNair murder trial. She says based on how she was treated by other jurors, it was leading her to believe that a black defendant could not receive a fair trial. Now, although there was another black man on the jury, Heller was the only black woman out of the other jurors in court. Heller mentioned jurors did not make any racial slurs or comments, but oftentimes would make demeaning comments towards her. She also mentioned she felt bullied and pressured into making a guilty verdict against McNair. McNair was found guilty of second-degree murder, along with 2 other men, for breaking into a Bradenton couple's home and shooting them both dead in 2015. Heller says she was not convinced about the verdict based on evidence presented in court.
When the verdict was being read, I was crying. I didn't want to not be fair, but then I'm like, I can't sit here and continuously be beaten up verbally, and then really not understanding if I could have come to you during this saying, hey, something's got to stop here, because I feel like I'm being pushed up against the wall to make a decision.
State Attorney Arthur Brown says based on Heller's statements of no racial slurs or comments made during the deliberation, he finds no reason to bring in any other jurors for interviews. So far, McNair's sentencing is moving forward. I'm Marla Spence reporting live in Bradenton for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Marla, thank you so much. In other news, a local fraternity is helping students at Booker High School get paid internships. This is the second year of the Gamma Xi Boulay internship program, which works to give underserved Booker High students a chance to work in real-world office settings. Sarasota Herald Tribune reporting through the local chapter of the Sigma Pi Phi fraternity, a group of students at Booker are able to work for local organizations and get some very valuable experience. The Sarasota man is donating 250,000 circus memorabilia items that he's been collecting for decades. The lucky recipient, Illinois State University's circus collection. School officials say the items include everything from clown props, performers' costumes, and photographs. Herbert Euchert says he decided to donate his collection after conducting his own research of the facility and meeting with its staff. Illinois State has one of the largest special collections of its kind in the world. Don't forget to get the latest on local and breaking news. You can download the updated version of our news app. iPhone users need to go to the App Store and re-download this app just by searching for WWSB or My Suncoast. Well, the war of words between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un continues to escalate. President Trump sending a tweet saying his nuclear button is bigger and more powerful than North Korea's. This comes as North and South Korea are reopening a line of communication. ABC's Arlette Saenz has the latest.
President Trump is launching a new taunt at North Korea's Kim Jong-un. On New Year's, the North Korean dictator claimed his desk is equipped with a nuclear button. He said, the entire U.S. mainland is within our nuclear strike range. The president is now firing back at the man he calls
Little Rocket Man,
tweeting, I too have a nuclear button, but it is a much bigger and more powerful one than his, and my button works.
It's calmer than some of his tweets, which is, I think, probably a good thing. It's still a bit, yeah, I'm bigger than you are, and little boy, don't push me around.
The new dig comes as North Korea is taking potential steps to begin talks with South Korea. After years of tension, the two Koreas reactivated a border hotline they haven't spoken on for 2 years. South Korea is also proposing holding talks with the North next week over the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. The president seemed open to those conversations, tweeting, perhaps that is good news, perhaps not. But the Trump administration is also signaling North Korea must do more.
North Korea can talk with anyone they want, but the U.S. is not going to recognize it or acknowledge it until they agree to ban the nuclear weapons that they have.
As for that nuclear button, it doesn't actually physically exist. The president's ability to launch a nuclear strike is much more complex and can involve the so-called nuclear football, a briefcase military officials carry wherever the president goes. Arlette Saenz, ABC News, Washington.
Still to come in your Suncoast News, a story about video game addiction. Doctors say it could become a mental disorder. And don't forget about your animals who are also trying to stay warm in these very low temperatures. I'll tell you how you can help. Manatee County Animal Services help animals who are battling the cold weather.
Coming up, we'll introduce you to an amazing Suncoast woman and tell you why babysitters are so good here on the Suncoast.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
You can do something about a crime, any crime, and you can receive a reward of up to $3,000 cash. Call Crime Stoppers with information about criminal activity, unsolved crimes, drug dealers, fugitive criminals, stolen property, illegal weapons. Call 366-TIPS. You will remain anonymous. Visit SarasotaCrimeStoppers.com. Download the Crime Stoppers P3 mobile app from the Apple iTunes Store or Google Play. Call Crime Stoppers 366-TIPS. Paid for by the Attorney General's Office, Crime Stoppers Trust Fund.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes. Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky. ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights. Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So here's a quick review of the current watches and advisories that are going to be hoisted tonight. They include a wind chill advisory for temperatures that will feel 35 degrees or below for a period of time, especially during the morning hours, I think, as the temperatures kind of bottom out. That's along the coastline, and then inland in Hardy County, particularly indicated here in the dark blue, we have a freeze watch, meaning conditions might be possible for temperatures below freezing as low as 28 degrees for a period of 3 hours or more in that location, at least parts of that location. So serious cool weather on the horizon for us. And, you know, tonight might not be the coldest night. We might see more of these watches and maybe warnings issued over the course of the next couple of days as temperatures may even get a little bit cooler, particularly tomorrow night into Friday morning. And the reason for that is we've obviously had some very chilly weather just to our north. And while our temperatures this morning started out a little bit warmer and are currently on track to be about the same as they were yesterday as we break out into a little bit more sunshine later this afternoon, with 53 degrees in Wauchula, 53 in Arcadia, 51 in Myakka, Longboat at 54, 50 in Sarasota, 52 in Bradenton, Parrish at 51, so is Inglewood and Venice at 52. Even though these temperatures are pretty much at the same place as they were 24 hours ago, they're going to get much cooler tonight because the winds out of the north will take some of that really cold air that produced the snow showers to the north. And we've got some spotter reports up here of 2-inch rainfalls in places in southern parts of Georgia and 1-inch rainfalls, snowfalls in and around areas of Leon County where the university is and then back toward Jacksonville. So there is some pretty good snow falling. In fact, some of that snow fell right on top of icy glazed conditions. So a real travel problem up there this morning. Obviously cold air if you're going to get that snow. And our winds turning north and becoming gusty today will transport some of that colder air southward as the low producing these showers exits the region. We're in the last few gasps of our rainfall right now. Some of the rainfall has been significant. Around Ellington area, got over a ½ an inch of rainfall. So that's pretty good for this time of year to get a rainfall like that. A very powerful low pressure area, kind of historic in nature actually, tracking up to the north and to the east. And as it does that, it draws down this drier air on the backside. You can see some of the clearing already beginning to take place out in Gulf waters. So as this low moves up toward the northeastern coastline of the mid-Atlantic and eventually down East Maine, snow showers will begin to intensify. This is really going to be a historic storm in terms of how strong it becomes in a short period of time. So as it does that, you know, a distance of 50 miles closer to the coast or further away from the coast is going to have a huge impact on how much snowfall they get in the northeast. So that's something we'll be watching. And then a secondary front kind of washes away, reinforcing the cool puddle of air in the deep south, and that north wind continues to draw it down. Those winds kind of slacken as we get toward dawn, and with clearer skies, the cold, dry air in place, that's when our temperatures will really start to fall. And we'll have a couple of days in a row of those colder air, that colder air in place. Northeast wind at about 20, and here's your forecast, and it's a cold one. A freeze watch up tonight for interior sections. It will be cold near the coastline, about 37 degrees, but interior sections could be very close to freezing. And then for the next few nights, colder still with lots of sunshine around, but despite the sunshine, it's cold. And then we start to warm a little bit over the weekend as the next front approaches next work week. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. If you or someone you know is obsessively playing video games, they might be diagnosed with a new mental disorder. Kim Hutcherson explains.
The World Health Organization is expected to include gaming disorder on its list of mental health conditions in 2018 as a part of addictive behaviors. The WHO defines the disorder as a persistent or recurrent behavior pattern of sufficient severity to result in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. A spokesman for the health organization says the new disorder entry includes only a clinical description and not prevention and treatment options. Some experts disagree with labeling this addiction as a disorder. According to research from a psychologist at Iowa State University, almost 9% of children who play video games in the U.S. are addicted. The research also found similar numbers globally. The psychologist also believes the increased availability of technology and broadband internet have contributed to gaming addictions. For today's Health Minute, I'm Reed Binion.
The hashtag Dry January is all over social media right now. There's a new push for more people to give up alcohol for the entire month of January. Dry January helps people control their relationship with alcohol and helps drive the conversation, thank you, about alcohol. The three major reasons the movement's creators say you should participate are to lose weight, sleep better, and save some money. There's also an app you can download during Dry January to see how much money and how many calories you're saving by staying sober. For more information, you can go to alcoholconcern.org.uk. All right, let's get over to the kitchen and say hello to our good friend, ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher, for the first time in 2018. Hi, Judy.
Hi there, Scott. And I'm taking that trend of calorie counting and watching. So we're going to start out by making a really nice pan-roasted, herb-crusted salmon. Use a little bit of butter with the anchovy paste, and we're going to toss it together with some zucchini noodles. If you don't have one of those spiralizers at home, treat yourself. They're probably on sale right now because this can be the year that you can turn vegetables into your spaghetti. We'll cut it down with some more herbs, artichokes, and San Marzano cherry tomatoes, little white wine. It's going to be such a lovely dish. You're going to enjoy it whether it's served hot or cold, and it will cut down on those calories. I'll be back in a few minutes to start cooking.
My name is Stefan Campagna. We're Ben Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been injured or arrested, I know this feels like the end of the road, but really it's the beginning of a long, potentially stressful process. So give us a call, let us give you some peace of mind.
Sarasota Institute of Lifetime Learning begins its 47th season on Monday, January 8th in Sarasota, Venice, and Lakewood Ranch. Meet Warren Jones, pianist to the world's best-known stars on Monday, January 15th, and Chris Hill, career diplomat and four-time ambassador on Tuesday, January 16th. 72 global issues lectures by renowned experts, 24 musical conversations with great performers. Subscriptions available now. Single event tickets at the door. For more information and to purchase season tickets, visit SILLSarasota.org.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. The cold is here on the Suncoast, and it's not going away anytime soon.
We're going to tell you when conditions are supposed to improve and how the wet weather could affect your daily commute tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
So we're looking at a wind chill advisory up for tomorrow morning. Plus, in inland areas, Hardee County is seeing a freeze watch. We'll detail that.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. ABC7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
By how much you give to the people around you. And today's amazing Suncoast woman has made giving to others her life work. ABC7's Linda Carson has her story.
Bonnie Silverman has trained almost 1,200 youngsters ages 12 to 15 to become babysitters. She chairs the GYMS, or Good Mothers Substitute Program.
We offer a lot of firsthand experience, a lot of problem solving, and then we have professionals come in and teach infant-child CPR. Tampa Poison Center comes to teach about the dangers of poisons.
And the police and firefighters teach safety. The students also learn to diaper.
About 9 moms and babies from anywhere from a few months old to maybe 15 months old. They divide into little groups and they teach diapering to the kids. And the kids turn to mush. They love it.
The babysitting course is offered by the Sarasota Medical Alliance Foundation.
It's an organization of physician families, either spouses of physicians, or we have some MD physicians in our group.
Bonnie got involved soon after arriving here.
My husband is a vascular surgeon, Stephen Silverman, and it was a great way for me to meet people.
She wanted to do something to help others, and heading up the babysitting program was a great fit with her background in education. Bonnie grew up in Maryland and met her husband the summer after high school graduation.
I started in a little school called Frostburg State in Western Maryland, and then transferred to University of Florida after meeting my husband, who was a student at University of Florida.
She studied early childhood education.
After we got married, he was in medical school in Miami. I taught there, and I went for a master's degree at FIU.
After her husband's surgical fellowship in Dallas, they moved to Sarasota because her husband's father and mother lived here.
My husband ended up going into practice with her surgeon, but we were happy she discovered Sarasota because we love it here.
They have 2 adult children and a grandchild on the way. And Bonnie's life lesson?
I like being independent. I like meeting a lot of people. I like giving back to the community. I feel good. You do things, sometimes I think, well, I don't get paid for what I do, for the things that I do, but it's so rewarding, and I wouldn't want it any different.
The babysitting classes are at Selby Library. Registration for the next one is in April, and the classes actually start on May 30th. For more information, go to their website. Linda Carson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Linda, thank you. Let's get back to the kitchen now and check in again with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher, fixing something light and healthy today.
Want to start out by getting in those omegas. So we're having salmon, beautiful salmon over at the Fresh Market. So I picked up several pieces because what I love to do is to turn these into salmon cakes the next day, little poached egg on top. It's going to be perfect. So I happen to love this Florida Sunshine blend from the Spice and Tea Exchange, salt and pepper. What we're going to do next is we're going to do some zest of lemon. You're going to need a total of about 2 lemons because we're going to do the zest on the fish as well as the zucchini noodles that we'll get to in just a minute. Now, whenever I'm cooking something like a salmon, I want to drizzle some olive oil and just let it be on that just for a moment or two, okay? That, instead of the oil in the pan, to get it on the salmon is just going to help it get that beautiful sear that you're looking for. If your pan is too hot, how you're going to know is you're going to get this white color around the edge of the salmon. So pull the pan off, let it simmer down a little bit, and you'll be fine. Now we're going to do a little dill and some different herbs, and this is really going to bring up the brightness because we already have the lemon and the sunshine blend, right? So in the pan we go, and we will sear this off. You're leaving the skin on because the skin really holds in the moisture. Now, if you want to pull the skin off before you serve it, fine. To me, crispy skin is phenomenal. So while this is sitting in the pan and starting to get the sear, I put the oven on 400 degrees. An old restaurant trick for all of you to know at home. When you have a thick piece of fish, you can start pan roasting and then pop it in a 400-degree oven. I do this for almost anything. That's about 1 inch thick, and that's going to work perfectly. I'm going to start spiralizing my zucchini for zucchini noodles. We'll get over to that side of the stove in just a few minutes, and I think you're really going to like this dish to ring in the new year with health and flavor.
I was always worried and scared. Mom was in pain. She wasn't going to get any better, and all the trips to the ER were painful for all of us. Then we called Tidewell Hospice, and everything changed. Now she has care in our home when she needs it, surrounded by family. We know we don't have much time left with Mom, but we decided to make the best out of that time. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters, gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
WWSB ABC 7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC 7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
It doesn't take a scientist to cure hunger or a fancy economist to create safe housing. It takes imagination, creativity, sweat equity, And I think of kids going to school hungry. Hunger, homelessness. In this land of plenty, seriously? Come on, we could fix this. Help out, or don't. The choice is yours.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
A massive winter storm is now taking aim at the East Coast. Forecasters are calling this historic storm the winter hurricane. It's bringing snow and a wintry mix to the southeast before heading north tonight. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is in New York.
The entire East Coast bracing for a major storm, with 25 states now under winter weather alerts, including parts of Florida where a rare winter storm warning prompted school closings in Tallahassee. In Jacksonville, the airport is canceling flights and the city's mayor issuing this warning.
These are conditions that we're not accustomed to here in Jacksonville, and we're encouraging people to stay off the roads, specifically in those drive times.
In Georgia, ahead of the storm, the governor declaring a state of emergency. Some areas there could see snow for the first time in a century. The snowstorm is then set to move up the coast from the Carolinas to Maine, where lake effect snow has already been a nightmare across parts of the Northeast.
Miles of traffic, miles.
Whiteout conditions in western New York shut down a stretch of I-90 near Buffalo following this chain reaction crash involving more than 20 vehicles. This as a blast of Arctic air is shattering record lows across the country.
I can't even describe it. It's unbearable. I'm wearing 2 hats, 2 pairs of gloves. I don't know.
In Chicago, it is so cold, crews are lighting fires to keep rail switches from freezing, while residents in Minnesota are braving wind chills 50 degrees below zero. Well, here in New York, as you can see, the sidewalks are clear for now, but we are told this area will also be covered with snow by tomorrow morning. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Well, the cold weather bringing out the best in people as well. One Manatee County couple saw a woman who was camped out at a gas station on State Road 64 with her dogs in the cold, so they decided to help. Kayla Weston and her husband ended up getting a nearby hotel room for Lara White Dam Monday afternoon. She was out in the cold temperatures for nearly 12 hours after the person she was with deserted her and her animals.
The weather started to drop, and the little pups I tried to wrap in underwear and tried to put them in my clothes so that they would stay warm, and then it started raining, and that made it worse.
I couldn't possibly just leave her there alone. That's not who we are.
Well, White Dam says none of the cold weather shelters would allow her because of the animals, so she was stuck. In addition to the hotel room, though, others have donated dog food and sneakers to help the woman. And shelters will be opening again tonight because of the cold weather. The Salvation Army in Sarasota will be open. 2 shelters in South Sarasota County will open this afternoon and evening. Grace United Methodist Church in Venice and New Hope Community Church in Northport. In Manatee County, the Salvation Army is open, as well as Turning Points on 17th Avenue West in Bradenton. And local animal shelters also asking for help to keep their animals warm during this cold spell. Manatee County Animal Services asking for donations of gently used blankets and towels to keep the animals warm. Donations can be dropped off at the Palmetto Shelter. Animal Services also reminding pet owners to keep their animals inside during the coldest of the weather, especially at nighttime. And we've got more cold weather on the way. Let's get the latest on that with meteorologist John Scalzi. Although today, you know, with the wet seems to make it feel colder too.
Like I said yesterday, choose your poison.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a wind chill in the morning and you know, really dry air, cold air, or you can have that kind of bitter northeastern sky. That, I didn't like that so much either this morning. It's just really cold. Get your feet wet, you know, and then it's all over once your feet are wet. So that will give way to clearer skies tonight, those rain showers that we had. But it comes at a price. As the winds begin to die down a little bit toward dawn, I think we'll see some very chilly temperatures develop in inland areas particularly. Along the coast, winds might be up a little longer, and the wind chill advisory will be in effect there for temperatures that feel like about 35 degrees or cooler for a prolonged period of time. But inland, in a little wind-protected areas, particularly in Hardee County, there is a freeze watch for temperatures below freezing for 3 hours or better. We're looking at temperatures across the region right now that are in the mid-50s. Not too terribly bad, but we've had some pretty gusty winds out there, some of them in excess of 30-mile-an-hour gusts. Rain showers are coming to an end as that storm system departs and heads up toward the northeastern coast. We're looking at sustained winds at already 10 to 15, and they'll be 15 to 20 this afternoon. All of that meaning some colder air being drawn down from the north, where they saw snowfall in North Florida this morning. We'll talk about what it means in terms of our weather for the next several days in just a few. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. A local 8-year-old genius making his television debut, and ABC 7 got a chance to talk with him today. Clark Walkup was recently invited to film 6 episodes of a new game show called Child Support. The show has adults answer questions, and if the contestant doesn't know the answer, it can be saved by a panel of 5 children. Clark was recently invited to New York City to film 6 episodes with co-host Ricky Gervais. His mom signed him up for this gig and says trivia is his specialty.
Well, Clark taught himself to read when he was 2 years old, so that was a pretty good indication that he had a unique talent.
I'll never need this stuff, essentially. I never know if I'm ever going to need this. It's the same way with trivia. I might as well just have trivia on these 2 subjects that I interest myself in.
Well, Clark was one of 15 children who made it onto the show Child Support out of 900 applicants. You can catch Clark this Friday night at 8 o'clock right here on ABC 7. Should be fun. Well, some students in North Florida are getting a snow day as we get back to the weather now. In response to the cold, snow and ice, Florida A&M University sent out a tweet saying its Tallahassee, Jacksonville, and Crestview locations would be closed. The school's main residence dining hall will remain open for students on campus. Florida State University closing its Tallahassee campus for much of today, but normal operations should resume this evening. Last time the capital of Florida had measurable snow was back in 1989, when it also snowed right here on the Suncoast as well. A Florida man is charged with beating his 7-year-old stepson to death because he got out of bed to get a cookie. Jack Jr. is then accused of forcing the boy's brothers to sleep with the victim's body. The incident took place at a hotel near Brandon. The child's mother was working at the time of his death. Investigators say the boy's 3 brothers witnessed the beating. There's an influx of Puerto Rican migrants in Florida after Hurricane Maria, and Governor Rick Scott is hoping to help them resettle in the Sunshine State. Yesterday, the governor held a roundtable in South Florida to talk about recovery efforts in Puerto Rico. He says there have not been any significant drop in job openings, and the addition of Florida residents is good for the economy. He also talked about a recent conversation he had with President Trump.
We talked about Puerto Rico, and I talked about the number of Puerto Ricans that have come here, the fact that we're the only state that did a host agreement, the fact that we have relief centers, and the fact that they still need help. The president said he was absolutely committed to getting things done.
It's been more than 100 days now since Hurricane Maria struck the island. The latest figures from the Puerto Rican governor show that half of the island is still without power. New this morning, FEMA has reversed a policy that previously prevented houses of worship from accessing disaster relief funds. This comes after a lawsuit filed by 3 churches damaged in Hurricane Harvey last year. The disputed policy allowed community centers and other nonprofits to receive FEMA emergency funds for certain repairs, but specifically excluded houses of worship like churches, synagogues, and mosques. The new policy applies to disasters declared on or after August 23rd. The president of the Church of Latter-day Saints has passed away. Church officials confirming Thomas Monson died yesterday. The LDS Church, known by many as the Mormon Church, has nearly 16 million members around the world. Monson became president of the church in 2008. According to his biography, Monson became a bishop at the age of 22. He was 90 years old at the time of his death. Back to the kitchen now. I hear things sizzling over there. Let's check in again with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher.
That's right, Scott. I just took out the second 2 pieces of the salmon, cooked beautifully. Now, the one thing I did before it went in the oven, I took a half of a stick of unsalted butter and some anchovy paste that you buy in a tube. Those are really great even when you're making a Caesar salad. Little dab, put that in the oven, then you can just kind of deglaze with just a touch of white wine. Let's get over to the next pan, okay? We're gonna add some garlic and some shallots. I don't want too much garlic in this because I don't want to overpower the fish. Now my zucchini noodles, all spiraled. You know, most stores now you can buy the vegetables already spiraled, but it's so easy and it's much less expensive if you do it yourself. And of course, it's much fresher. So look how fast this is going to go. We have the zucchini, we have the olive oil in there. I can smell the garlic popping, beautiful. Now we'll take some fennel salt or some kosher salt with maybe some dried basil in it. That's going to be really good foundation for it. Some drained artichoke hearts, a little bit of fresh squeezed lemon juice. And the last thing we want to add are the grape tomatoes because we just want to give them just a little warmth. Now, heating up a tomato actually brings out more nutrients in it, so it's always nice to just pop them in the oven or pop them in the pan when you can, even if you're going to have it on the salad, just because you know this time of year we're looking for really to kind of get back on track. Okay, so this part is looking great. Let's add some of these grape tomatoes. I love these. They're the real flavorful brand of San Marzano. Those are the kind that you can buy in the can that you love so much when you're making homemade sauce. So bright and beautiful, right? There we go. Now, if you want to put a touch of the anchovy butter, and I mean just a touch into your zoodles, since I'm using zucchini, you can. And again, just a tad of wine, just like we did over in our salmon pan. And then we're ready to plate. So redistribute a little more salt and pepper, and then we'll take our plate with some salmon already done, and we are ready to get John Scalzi's first lunch of the new year with me on the plate for tasteful new beginnings for the new year. I'll be back in just a few minutes with John to see how he likes it.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
You can do something about a crime, any crime, and you can receive a reward of up to $3,000 cash. Call Crime Stoppers with information about criminal activity, unsolved crimes, drug dealers, fugitive criminals, stolen property, illegal weapons. Call 366-TIPS. You will remain anonymous. Visit SarasotaCrimeStoppers.com. Download the Crime Stoppers P3 mobile app from the Apple iTunes Store or Google Play. Call Crime Stoppers 366-TIPS. Paid for by the Attorney General's Office, Crime Stoppers Trust Fund.
Everybody can make something because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Just to remind you one last time, we have a freeze watch in effect tonight in Hardee County only. The rest of the counties have a wind chill advisory for tonight through tomorrow morning, meaning that when you wake up tomorrow, it's going to be cold outside. Had a lot of snow, relatively speaking, for Florida during the last 6 hours or so. We have perhaps as much as 2 inches of snow on the ground in some locations. Certainly spotter reports of 1 inch and more snowfalls in North Florida along basically I-10. As far south as about Cross City or so, and then it kind of moved up toward the Jacksonville area. So there's snow on the ground there, and while that snow will be melting throughout the day, it's still going to provide a cold environment for the winds out of the northeast that are going to come over that area and head toward our neck of the woods as these rains depart. So the air remains cold as it moves down through Florida and moves into our area tonight. And that means we could have some real issues in areas of Hardee County. Should it go below freezing, I think you could probably see some glazed ice on some areas left over from the rainfalls that, you know, we've had half-inch rainfalls in some locations. So that water will be remaining there through the nighttime hours, and as that colder air filters in, if it does drop to freezing, that water is going to freeze. So that's a possibility of seeing some frosty areas tonight in inland areas particularly. Near the coastline, I don't think we'll probably hit the freezing mark, but we'll certainly be in the 30s. A little bit of clear skies in store for us later on today, and I think we're going to usher in enough dry air aloft that we see several days in a row of sunny skies, but the air is not going to warm up all that much because we're going to stay with this northerly wind flow. And we have another front kind of located just to the north of us that's going to sink south and wash out, but it will reinforce that kind of dome of cooler air that's over the deep south right now. And with that northerly wind flow around an area of high pressure back to the west, we'll continue to drain down cooler air, keeping us from warming significantly until we start to see a wind shift as we head into the weekend and start to warm things up a little bit. That low moves up the northeast coast, and again, we could see some significant deepening and development of that low pressure area over a 24-hour period. If it drops, we measure the central pressure of a low pressure area in something called millibars, and if it drops 24 millibars in 24 hours, you get what's called a bomb. And there's certainly good reason to think that we could have, with this particular storm, a low pressure bomb, which is a bit of a rarity. So the rains end just about now in the next hour or so. We'll look for mostly cloudy skies for another couple of hours, but cool. And then we'll see cooler temperatures tonight as that cold air drains southward. For beach and boating, obviously, it's not going to be very good. The winds are breezy out there, and in fact, even gusty above 30 at times. So watch for that. Daytime high today, probably about the same as it was yesterday, about 58. Tonight's low about 37 near the coast, but cooler inland. Next couple of days, cooler still. Will warm a bit over the weekend, and then as we head into the next week, a series of much weaker fronts will be approaching the area with chances of rain. Scott?
All right, John, thank you so much. Well, these photos were sent to us from a viewer in Tallahassee. That's snow that fell in their backyard this morning. ABC's Victor Oquendo is at the state capitol with how the Florida Highway Patrol coped with this rare weather event.
We're riding along Interstate 10 here in Tallahassee, Florida. Parts of it shut down this morning because of the icy conditions. We're riding with the Florida Highway Patrol. This is Captain Ryan Martin, nice enough to give us a ride this morning. It was snowing at one point this morning. Captain, you ever seen anything quite like that here in Tallahassee?
I've never seen that.
Such a rare sight. Take a look at something you normally wouldn't see in Tallahassee as well. This fountain completely frozen over. Look at all of that ice. Florida State University, that campus shut down for the day. A number of school districts shut down as well. Here's the problem in Florida, not exactly equipped to handle all of that ice and snow. So where most states would use salt to combat some of that, guess what? Here in Florida, FHP says they'll actually be using sand in some spots. It really doesn't get much more Florida than that, using sand to combat ice and snow. Victor Oquendo, ABC News, Tallahassee, Florida.
And it's hard to suggest lowering your heat in the middle of the frigid cold spell, but here are some tips to keep costs down and your home warm. Homeowners can replace incandescent bulbs with LED retrofit kits. They'll keep warm air from seeping out of the house. Also consider weatherproofing your doors and windows. And remember, lowering that thermostat just 1 degree can save you 5% on heating costs. In consumer news, Delta Airlines is issuing travel waivers because of the snowy weather up north. The airline is allowing passengers flying from nearly a dozen Northeast and Mid-Atlantic airports to change flights without a fee. More than 100 million people are under wind chill warnings or advisories, and airline travel is sure to be affected by this winter storm today and tomorrow. Well, you have another chance to strike it rich. The lottery jackpots just keep climbing. Both the Powerball and Mega Millions jackpots are now in excess of $400 million. Tonight's Powerball jackpot is worth at least $440 million, and that number is expected to go up before the drawing. And no big winner, it will roll over again to Saturday night. The chance of winning Powerball, by the way, 1 in 292 million. And no one won the Mega Millions jackpot in last night's drawing. That jackpot now up to at least $418 million. The next drawing, by the way, is Friday. Good luck. Still to come in your Suncoast News, NBA players will soon be sporting SpongeBob-inspired uniforms, which cause they're supporting when we come back.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Judy. First meal of the new year. Happy New Year.
That's right. Happy New Year. Happy and a healthy New Year. We've all been talking about what we ate over the holidays. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of meals like this coming up in the next month. But beautiful, delicious pan-roasted herb salmon.
Delicious.
And those zucchini noodles, you and I were both saying we love those little machines.
Yes.
And it's so easy. And just put in some bright pop of tomato and a little garlic and some lemon, and you have just a bright new dish.
Yeah, you know, I never thought that I would like the spiraled vegetables, but I do. I really love them.
I'm telling you,
good
put tomato
substitute.
sauce on it, little Parmesan cheese, and your mind is really tricked. Not enough that I couldn't do my best spaghetti segment for the Suncoast View at 4 o'clock today.
Coming on today.
For noon, we'll be healthy.
Pretty darn good. The recipe on our website, mysuncoast.com. Check it out. All the video instructions are there. Just click on the dining link page. Judy, thank you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you both. The Philadelphia 76ers G League squad are dressing as everyone's favorite absorbent yellow and porous starfish who lives in a pineapple under the sea. The Delaware's 87ers will be donning SpongeBob SquarePants uniforms for tonight's Nickelodeon night. According to the team's Twitter page, proceeds from ticket sales and jersey auction will go to Child Inc., which is a local organization there helping abused and neglected children. E! Will air a 5-part documentary series starring actress and activist Rose McGowan. The 44-year-old was one of the first to speak out against disgraced film producer Harvey Weinstein. She claims he raped her in a hotel room back in 1997. The series is called Citizen Rose. It will premiere January 30th with 4 more installments to air sometime in the spring. HGTV's popular show hosts Chip and Joanna Gaines are expecting baby number 5. They made the announcement Tuesday with an Instagram picture. The couple star in Fixer Upper, where they showcase their Waco, Texas-based home remodeling business, which is growing and growing. The current season is expected to be the last one, though. But the couple will no doubt stay busy. They also have new books being published and a new home goods partnership with Target stores. That's sure to do well as well. So good for them. Love watching that show.
I love that show.
Yeah. It's so fun.
Everybody says it's great. I have not seen it yet, but I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be cool. So we are again looking at a very cold night tonight. Of course, Bob will be in at 5 with updates on the temperature forecasts. Be sure and check it out.
Man, 50s all week, huh?
Soup week, like you said, Scott.
Have a good day. We'll see you at 5.
Sarasota Institute of Lifetime Learning begins its 47th season on Monday, January 8th in Sarasota, Venice, and Lakewood Ranch. Meet Jamie Bernstein, music lecturer and daughter of Leonard Bernstein, on Monday, March 19th, and Hedrick Smith, Pulitzer Prize-winning former reporter for the New York Times, on Thursday, February 15th. 72 global issues lectures by renowned experts, 24 musical conversations with great performers. Subscriptions available now. Single event tickets at the door. For more information and to purchase season tickets, visit SILLSarasota.org.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.